let's get it. All right, let's get it, man. Yo, it's the Trenches Podcast. You know, we got a real special guest. It's your boy Will West today. We got a real special guest. Probably the biggest guest I done had. No disrespect to any of my previous guests, but we got the big dog in the building, man. He's a host of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, the Barbershop on 92.3 The Fan, the Tailgate Show, man. Y'all make some noise, man. Welcome my boy Garrett Bush, man. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on. We were supposed to link up on Thursday, but some things fell through, but we had to come back through and get it done. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man of my word, so had to pull up on you. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, absolutely, man. I appreciate you super much, man. I'm just glad you're here. You know, we didn't get it done Thursday, but we here today. And, I'm just happy to have you here today, brother. So
facts.
So we're gonna get right into it, man. You know why we here, man. The playoffs is coming up, starting today. Everybody's excited. Cavs playoffs going down. So, but before we get into the playoffs, I kind of want to just look back kind of at the regular season for the Cavs. You know, the Cavs finished the season at 48-34, fourth in the East, fourth in defensive rating, 13th in net rating. Had a lot of injuries this year. You know, Mitchell only played 55 games. Garland played 57. Mobley played 50. A lot of ups and downs, man. I call it kind of a roller coaster year. You know, we had some good stretches, some bad stretches. So overall, if you had to throw a grade on this Cavalier season, like what would be the grade be?
Man, I would probably lean on probably like a C plus B minus. And the reason, I'm kind of tough on the Cavs is because they started off the season, moving and shaking and doing what they was doing. And when they was, when they had Mobley moving, he was out of the lineup, Garland was out of the lineup, Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen was like the two catalysts for what they was doing. They went on a real long run, 19 or 20 and almost 20-2, right. Contending for almost the number one seed. I think there were a couple games behind Boston heading into the All-Star break. So, for me to see it kind of collapse like that, you take in consideration Darius Garland takes a little step back. He didn't play as well as he has played in previous years. So for me, the season could have been, so far A, but it kind of moved down to, fumbling games, losing games at the end of the season, getting blown out by Miami, losing the lead to the Clippers. Just a lot of different things. They couldn't, seem to win any games down the stretch. But with that being said, regular season is regular season. The cool thing about the playoffs is, the NBA playoffs is so dang on long. Playoffs start now. If you get to the championship, you get to the finals. You looking at June and July is hot as heck outside. Right, it's right. April now, so it's a long playoff series. I guess they got a good opportunity to win the series. I picked them to beat the Orlando Magic and kind of get the nasty taste out of their mouth from the egg they laid with the Knicks last year. But I think they have an opportunity starting today to kind of get this thing done.
Okay, right. So like I gave the season kind of a B minus C plus, as you were saying. It's definitely started off like disappointing the way, Evan Mobley and Garland was looking. But like you said, when we went on that run, I think like you said, it was 18 out of 20 when Mitchell and Allen was going crazy. But then, like you said, toward the end of the season, it all fell off. But at the end of the day, we still sitting here at, like you said, the fourth seed. We got good positioning. And with that being said, I want to bring up that final regular season game of the year against Charlotte. Where a lot of playoff season was up for grabs, and then in the fourth quarter, we had a double-digit lead, kind of pulled everybody out and lost the game. So some people were saying, we were trying to position ourselves from seeding to try to avoid Philly. How do you feel about, the kind of losing on purpose to try to get the right matchup type thing? How do you feel about that?
Well, I look at it like this, man. Would I call it a straight up tank job? No, not really. I mean, they pulled people out of the game. They did play some of the G League guys or some of the guys that are reserves, and they did end up losing that game or whatever. But look at it in terms of this. I always compare it to like a football. There's always years where it just seemed like, I think in 2007, I think there was times, I believe in 2019, where the Browns needed help from other people to, kind of get into the playoffs. And those teams, either didn't they play their quarterback, didn't play their starters, or seemed like they didn't care going into that game. And that was just part of the game in terms of, positioning. So for me, a lot of people say, oh, y'all was ducking people, you ducking the 76ers. Is there some part in truth in that? Sure. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to play everybody. So they didn't do themselves no favor. You think about it, if they would have won that game, they would have possibly been, I guess, a 3 seed, which would have put them in a situation where they wouldn't have had to play Boston in the second round. But now you get Orlando, but if you win this series, you got Boston next round. So they really didn't do themselves no justice. You to win, to get to where you want to go, you want to be good teams, whether it's now or later. So I really don't mind it.
Yeah, like I don't mind it, but I don't like to see it because at the end of the day, it's like you kind of ducking people. Like you said, you got to play everybody anyway. And I feel like we would have won that game, we would have been a third seed. Like you said, like I think playing the Pacers first round, then moving on, maybe playing the Knicks. And speaking of the Knicks, like when the whole playoffs was unfolding, my biggest thing was like, man, please don't let us match up with the Knicks. We're not a good matchup with the Knicks.
See?
It's all bad.
Like right, Knicks. Look, that's what I'm saying. Like people will say, "Oh, you guys are tanking. You guys didn't want to see this team or this team. Y'all should." And then, on another hand, it's obvious you didn't want to see the Knicks. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just part of the game. At the end of the day, I've been going back, and I like to go back and watch NBA Finals, and I've been going back watching, all of them. I just watched the whole Lakers Bulls series in '91. I went back and watched the Cavs from 2015, whole series. So, I've been getting my mind ready for the playoffs, and playoffs is a different animal. You know what I mean? So, guys got to come out ready to play no matter what they are. And at this point, Charlotte is behind us. It's like, yo, we got a game today. Like Charlotte at the crib.
Nah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So when you take a look at the, matchup against Orlando, they're for me, they're a big versatile team. They got so many long defenders and good stuff like that. They're I believe the third ranked defense in the league. So just initial, your thoughts about this matchup and how you feel about, our chances in this matchup.
Well, listen, Orlando isn't going to shoot very many threes. They're not gonna, jack up a bunch of threes, which, guys on their team, they don't have a prolific 3-point attack. Right. Wagner is a guy who shot 35%, almost 30, 31 in the 30s in last year and was able to knock some of those down. I think he's shooting almost like 20% this year.
Like 28% or something like that.
Yeah. Paolo Banchero is a throwback. He's more of a guy that is, going to try to get to the rack. He's a dude, big guy, 6'8", 6'9", 240. He kind of has that old school Carmelo game. Not going to pull up from three too much, but he got the mid range game. When he get in the paint, he's a nightmare. He's a load, and then he's going to be able to get to the free throw line. I think he shoots 7-8 free throws a game. So that's what they like to do. They like to isolate him. They like to isolate Wagner. And then from there, they got a couple of good guys, Isaacs and Jalen Suggs, good defenders. So they'll probably be able to switch off with Jalen Suggs off on Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland. And, from a standpoint, they're young. They're kind of playing with house money, so to speak. You know what I mean? And I just think that it's imperative for the Cavs to get out to a 2-0 lead. I think they got to come out and make a statement. You can't afford to drop a game to Orlando at home. You got to have them games. And you want to put all the emphasis on game 3 and make sure that they say, all right, well, listen, they'll come out with a punch in game 3. But we need to withstand that, and we need to win that game. And if you could get the first 2 and then put the pressure back on them, you could get them up out of here. But here's the thing. If you let them hang around, if you split at home and you go back to Orlando, it's going to be rocking. They're going to be having a lot of energy. And then at the end of the day, that's going to give them some heart to think that they should be in this series. And the longer the series lasts, the more of a problem you're going to have with these young dudes.
Right. So yeah, like I said, like when I look at this series, like I said, it's the defense for Orlando that presents the biggest problem. Like you said, Jonathan Isaac, one of the most big versatile defenders out there. But at the end of the day, the Cavs have the best player in the series. They have Donovan Mitchell, and that's what I'm banking on. I think it's gonna be a good series though, because even before the season started, I told people not to sleep on Orlando. They coming. And but I think the Cavs should take this. I think they'll take it in 7 though. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I got the Cavs. I got the Cavs winning this series in 6.
Mm-hmm.
They got the best player, right?
Right.
And if you're a student in the game and you've been watching basketball a long time, you understand that when you got the best player in the series, you got to lean on that player. Donovan Mitchell at home. I always go back and look at the way LeBron figured it out. LeBron was so great in his playoff runs here in Cleveland because he understood what the team needed in order for them to be successful in that particular series.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it would be, hey, we need to get Kevin Love off to a quick start, or hey, we need Kyrie Irving to be aggressive, or hey, I'm on the road in Golden State. I need to, put up 40 today. So I got to be aggressive from the jump, So between facilitating, figuring out how to get other guys to basketball, he was a savant and knowing how to do that. So for Donovan Mitchell, today is a game where you want to say, I need to get my guys feeling good. You're at home, shots should fall, people should be feeling a little better about themselves, and I think you should come out and get Darius Garland and Evan Mobley some confidence. I want to see Mobley come out aggressive, Darius Garland come out and see the ball go through the hoop a little bit, because you're going to want to rehabilitate and build his confidence back up, because he's not playing not playing as confident as he's used to. So you get them feeling good, and I think it'll help because they do have some leadership now. Last year it was different. The year before it was the play-in. You got Morris. You got Max Strus that played in the finals last year. You got George Niang that played for the Sixers, played in some series, right? And so now you got those guys that can kind of push them, give them that advice. But I want to see them come out in game 1. Get Darius Garland together, get Evan Mobley together, and put the pedal to the metal on Orlando early.
No, right. I like that. I like that. Like you said, man, I think we should win this series. I think we both agree, the Cavs should win this series. So, moving forward though, we'll be moving on to the second round, having to face Boston. I don't really think there's a chance. I mean, I'm gonna say it's a chance, but obviously we'd be not favored to win that series. But I feel like if we was to give them a good series, maybe 6-7 game series, I would look at the season as kind of I wouldn't say it's good, as a success, but I feel like we about met our expectations. So in the second round matchup against the Celtics, we lose there. Like, how would you feel about us going out in that manner?
Well, listen, it's an uphill fight when you're talking about playing the Boston Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
We already know what they got. I think they did a really good job of going out and get Kristaps Porzingis.
Mm-hmm.
You still got Tatum, you got Brown, you got White, Drew Holiday. Horford's coming off the bench. They got pieces, man. They got they got everything you want. They got 2 athletic wing guys, Brown and Tatum, that can cover people. Porzingis is a rim protector, plus he stretches the floor. Drew Holiday is one of the best point guards defensive guards in the league. Still can give you something as a play. They're just really solid. Al Horford does all the little basketball stuff, and he can hit the 3. So it's an uphill battle playing the Celtics. For me, I think the Cavs have to. You always go into a series and you try to figure out where it is that you can steal something, right? Let's not forget the Boston Celtics lost to an 8 seed last year. I'm trying to test their metal. I want to test their gangster. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like when people go.
You feel like we got the guys to do that though, to test them like that?
Hey, well, listen, that's what they got Morris for. And this is what you got. So it's kind of like, in Snowfall, he tells him, hey man, don't forget who you is. I want you to go in there. And if anybody look crazy at you, I want you to fight the first person that look at you crazy. look, like you might not be the biggest, toughest dude in the whole prison, but you can't come in there and get punked. You got to go make an example out of somebody. And to win a series, you got to make an example out of somebody by doing two things. You got to say, listen, we're going to play hard. That's not negotiable. We're going to play hard. We're going to muddy this game up. Two, our superstar got to play like a superstar, right? If Donovan Mitchell play like a superstar, you give yourself an opportunity to win a couple games. Right. So, anything can happen. You want to see what you can do, steal a game in Boston, get back home. Boston is who they are. But I think the Cavs are a talented team. I think they can, you put the onus on them to have them beat you outright. So, we'll see where it goes. But in terms for me, of what that would mean for the season and how I would think about that, this is a referendum on JB Bickerstaff. Okay. We're going to see what's up with JB because last year you said you didn't have the pieces and parts. You got shooters now. You got shooters, right? You didn't have what you needed to have. You got some veteran leadership that you picked up on. You said, you got Sam Merrill who can knock down jumpers and Niang and Strus, right? It's Evan Mobley's third year. Jared Allen's having a great year. So my thing is, how is JB going to handle his rotations? And this playoffs is a referendum on him and Kobe Altman. Because the reality of it is the Cavs aren't a young team anymore. When you make the Donovan Mitchell trade, guess what that means? That means you're ready to contend right now. And there's expectations. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm looking at the way they lose, how they lose, and if they do lose in that round, what is JB Bickerstaff doing to propel his team to the next level? And if he's not doing that, you got to look for somebody else.
No, I absolutely agree. I look at this whole playoffs because it's been a lot of trade rumors all year, surrounding Donovan Mitchell and so I just want to see, the team come together. Like you said, enforcing our will against Boston, you know what I'm saying? That got to start in Orlando series because if you look at our history, we got punked last year in the playoffs. Punked bad, really bad. So to be able to come out and be able to impose our will against somebody else, it's going to have to start in this Orlando series. They got big physical guys, and we're going to need our bigs. Allen and Mobley, they're going to have to, get dirty. Like you mentioned Morris, but Morris is not going to play, a ton of minutes. He's kind of a role player on the bench. We need our main guys to get out there and, set the tone and show that they're going to be aggressive. We're not getting punked out here. And you totally right about JB. I don't want to say he's coaching for his job, but the way that we come out and look, the way that like you said, the rotations and how we play, and if we get eliminated, the way we lose, all that's going to be taken into consideration.
And plus, look, I know Morris saying he not going to come in here, and we're not saying that he the second coming of Ron Artest or something. But listen, can he? You need to examine. All right, can I steal a couple of minutes on him on Tatum? Can he give me 4 minutes to really be into, get into him defensively, make him work, muddy the game up a little bit. Back in 2016, game 6 of the finals at home against the Golden State Warriors, a closeout game. Cavs trying to send it to game 7. Dante Jones comes in and gives you a putback and one right before halftime to kind of extend that lead. You look at Richard Jefferson that comes in and gives you something right before. Channing Frye before that in the Atlanta Hawks series where he's hitting 8-9 threes. It ain't about whether or not these guys are going to be the bulk of the minutes. No, you just need somebody to come in and give me a little shot in the arm and a little something in position and situational basketball that could give you a little boost. So that's what I'm looking at JB to do, to pull the right triggers. And that's what makes Ty Lue, a great coach, going back to when the Cavs were winning championships. Ty Lue was really great at that by pushing and pulling levers when he needed to and to tweak the matchups.
Right. No, I feel that. So, so let's kind of just look ahead a little bit. I always want to try to wait until exactly how the season ends to see exactly how things play out. But, this could be potentially a big offseason. Donovan Mitchell headed into the final year of his contract. So what do you see as maybe depending on how the playoffs turn out, what do you see the Cavs doing this offseason?
Well, listen, they close to the luxury tax, so that means they really, they don't really have a lot of things that they can do in free agency in terms of bringing new pieces in. You already Darius Garland's on a max contract. Everyone knows Evan Mobley will probably get a max contract. Donovan Mitchell is on his last year, so it all depends on if Donovan Mitchell is signing or not.
Right.
I think you got to go to Donovan Mitchell and you gotta say essentially, help me help you. What you want to do? Because in my opinion, if Donovan Mitchell does want to sign, I tell him what my plan would be. And I think you either have to make a trade, and the trade piece I'm looking at, I would want to keep Mobley, but I would look at Darius Garland as probably the trade piece that I would get. If you get Donovan Mitchell to stay, you now can take Darius Garland and you could try to get something for him, a wing or something that makes it look a little better. Um, but that's easier said than done because Donovan Mitchell probably is not going to give you any sort of assurances that way. And if Donovan Mitchell don't give you no assurances after you talk to him, that means you got to think about trying to move Donovan Mitchell because the reality of the situation is, we talk about we talk about Deshaun Watson, but the reality is the Cavs have given up just as much for Donovan Mitchell. And so when you give up that amount of assets, you can't even really go to the draft and hope the draft is going to bring you what you need to go. So then you got to actually start looking at Donovan Mitchell, whether you're going to trade him and what you could get for him. But you're not going to get what you gave up. I mean, you gave up Lauri Markkanen, Colin Sexton, 3 first-round picks. That's a lot of capital to lose a guy for free. So that's why you got to actually look at moving him. So it's going to be a dilemma. I think those two, the advanced analytics said they can play together. I mean, it's a so-so thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm on the camp of like I don't think they really work well together. And as far as Donovan Mitchell, unless he comes straight directly to the Cavs and say, I am not signing an extension, I'm not looking to trade Donovan Mitchell because at the end of the day, where is he gonna go? Because we really haven't seen many like players switch teams in free agency since like 2019 with like KD and Kyrie. Most guys, they're going to sign that extension and then they'll request a trade, maybe down the line. But it's just at this point, Donovan Mitchell to me is a top 15 player in the league for sure. And I just don't see the value in trading him. Now, obviously, with Darius Garland, my thing with Garland is like, what is Darius Garland? Like, how good is Darius Garland actually? You know what I'm saying? So it's like you get different opinions on how good Garland is, and I'd be willing to definitely trade Garland to get like a nice wing piece like a Miles or Mikal Bridges or something like that. So but just keeping it open, like there's no way I'm really looking to trade Donovan Mitchell because at the end of the day, like, because I think he can actually be the point guard. You know what I'm saying? So it's like them two crashing heads on who has the ball in their hands most of the time. But you got Donovan Mitchell. I'm not trading Evan Mobley under any circumstances, even though kind of, you kind of want to see more growth from him. He's kind of growing slower than, some people projected. Some people thought by now he might be the second coming to Tim Duncan, but I'm not I'm not trading Evan Mobley and I'm not looking to trade Donovan Mitchell. It just depends.
So here's the thing. So if you so you're willing to let him ride in free agency then?
No, yeah, because at the end of the day, Cleveland can offer him the most money. You what did Jaylen Brown just get? Like 5 for 305? Donovan's gonna get even more than that. You know what I'm saying? So you chose to leave, you're gonna get 4 for what, 250 or whatever. It's gonna be like $100 million less. So I don't see players aren't really just switching teams in free agency when they super max guys.
Well, let me play devil's advocate. See, here's the thing about people who don't got traded. So Donovan Mitchell got drafted by the Jazz. Mm-hmm. Who you get drafted by, you don't have a choice in that. He was traded to Cleveland. He didn't ask to be traded to Cleveland. That's what the Jazz did. So that's another place.
He asked to be traded though.
Well, yes, but that's good. That's understandable. But he asked to be traded. But he didn't say I wanted to go to Cleveland though. No, like they moved. That was the best package on the table, and that's what Utah did. So now, if you're a free agent, he actually, for the first time in his life, can choose what team he wants to play for. He could choose whatever team he wants. Now, granted, There will be a difference in money that other teams can offer them, or the Cavs can. But that's one thing that you can think about. The second thing you think about is this: can you really afford, as Kobe Altman, to go to Dan Gilbert and say, we lost our best player and we didn't get anything for it? You got to think about it. People still go back to Kyrie Irving and say, you lost Kyrie Irving for like nothing. You got nothing for Kyrie. You didn't get regular value. You got a broken down, beat up Isaiah Thomas, in a Nets pick that turned out to be Colin Sexton, and that was it, right? Like, so, I mean, so you gotta take the good with the bad, and if you think about it, can you afford to go tell Dan Gilbert, yeah, I gave up 3 first-round picks for him, and we only made it to the second round.
But at the same time, so if you was to trade Donovan Mitchell now, you might wind up getting a Kyrie type deal where you getting back, very less than what you giving away. When I feel like you got a guy like that, man. Like I feel like I might just ride it out because I don't see where he's gonna go. I don't see the spot for him to go. The money is gonna be too much for him to turn down. Like unless he comes and says, no, I am not signing with Cleveland. I don't want to be in Cleveland no more. Then I think I'm gonna ride it out.
And you got to think about from his standpoint. If you Donovan Mitchell and you want to win championships, his calculus is going to be, where's the best place I can win and get my money? Yeah, I could get my money in Cleveland, but is this the best place to win? That's why this series, this is important. No, because if you go out there and get smoked by the Celtics and his ultimate goal is to win a championship, he's not going to do the Cavs any favors by saying, hey, I'm going to stay here. But I know that I can't beat Boston. I know that we're not better than the Sixers because I know we don't got Giannis and Dame Dollar. So let's be a 4 or 5 seed, and we can't even really beat the Knicks. So like he's think about that. Like you just sign up for that. How they gonna make the team better? They don't got first round picks. So it's a catch-22.
It's gonna take some maneuvering. Like I said, we got pieces that you can move around, but like I said, at this point, I'm trying to build the best team I can around Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. Everybody else is kind of expendable. And then we're just gonna rock it out and see. Like it's gonna be an interesting offseason for sure. But speaking of off seasons, I want to get into the Browns. Before we get up out of here, 2 main things I want to talk about from the Browns offseason. First is getting Jerry Jeudy. We traded, I believe, a 6th-round pick for Jerry Jeudy, which I thought was a good trade. But then the kind of surprising thing was the contract extension. He got a pretty big contract extension. Give me your thoughts about the whole Jerry Jeudy move.
So here's and a lot of people, this is just the way I think about it. And I've said this from Jump Street. I think people get too caught up in money. I don't care. I don't care about the money. I think people get caught up in a situation where they feel like, I don't know whether or not this like it's their money they spending or their budget, and I always ask people, like people say, well, why would you give Jerry Jeudy a contract? And without seeing if he can play or not. Why? Well, look, here's 2 things that you got to realize from the Cleveland Browns. They rather be above the learning curve or before they want to get to you before you get to them. Case in point, David Njoku. They extended him and gave him a contract, and everybody was like, I can't believe you gave David Njoku a contract. Oh my God,
including
he's not worth it. He's not worth it. Like we're not talking about worth. Yeah. In this life, you don't get what you're worth. You get what you can negotiate. That ain't what it is. David and they said, all right, well, look, we need a tight end. We listen, we need to figure out whether or not this guy is a long-term answer. He's still young. We're going to bet on what we think he's going to turn into. And guess what? He turned into one of the best tight ends last year. So that contract looks great. You look at a situation, it could go wrong or right. So far, they extended Jack Conklin. That looks like the wrong move, right? Mm-hmm. He's hurt. He's injured. Right. Why would you give him a contract? I thought he was going to retire. They give him a contract, right? They bet on the fact that they've picked up Greg Newsom's contract for the 5th year. They picked up Jet Will's 5th-year option. They trying to get ahead of it. They'll give him an opportunity. So when you look at what they did with Jerry Jeudy, it's a guy that they've been trying to get for 2 years. It's a receiver that they like his skill set. And one thing that they want to do is Jerry Jeudy, if he come out and get 1,100, 1,200 yards, had the best year of his career, but you think you're going to have a much better opportunity with Deshaun Watson, right, then guess what? You got a bargain. Because now you don't got to worry about him being in free agency. Amari Cooper is headed to, his contract is up. Elijah Moore's contract is up. So do you want to go into this season with 3 receivers, all of them on the contract year? No. So you're like, all right, well, I'm gonna give Jeudy a little cake. It turns out to be like a 3-year deal. But at the end of the day, the money is money. I always say this. What player did the Cleveland Browns not be able to get because they paid too much money to somebody? That player, he ain't out there.
Right.
Hey, shout out to the Haslems. They might got it.
Right. Yeah, but I'm excited to see Jeudy, man. I feel like, he obviously kind of underperformed, but I feel like he definitely got the talent. He showed some signs that he could be really good. So I'm excited to see him. But another, big signing, we let go of Flacco, and now we bring in Jameis Winston to be the backup. How you feel about the Jameis move, man, and getting rid of Flacco?
Well, listen, I was one of the biggest Flacco fans in the game. I was the one I was jumping up and down on UCSS to hear about, oh no, you can play DTR. Flacco's wash. I'm like, stop playing. Listen, you get you a veteran. Stop playing around. Get you a veteran. You know what Flacco did. He came in here and did what he needed to do. Right. Now, when it came to him leaving, I asked him on UCSS, and we interviewed him, and I said, hey, do you believe that you one of the best, 32 quarterbacks in the universe? And he said, of course. Yeah, I think I'm one of the best 32. Yeah, I think I'm a starter. You know what I'm saying? So that's not a knock on him. He's just telling you what it is. He feels like he's a starter. And you're like, okay, well, cool. We got to figure something out here, because here's a reality of the situation. And they might want to say it. I tell it to him. If Deshaun Watson comes out, throws a couple picks, starts off slow, Browns may lose a game or something, people think they slick. They think keep bringing Flacco back. Bring him back. Saying you want to bring him back so you could be chanting his name, right, and be like, well, I don't know. Joe Flacco's look better than Deshaun. I mean, look what he did last year. Andrew Berry said, let me take that chip right off the board. Let me take that little piece off the board. Get out of here. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in Jameis Winston. I know ain't nobody be cheering for Jameis Winston. Hey, who's the person that says, Jameis? No, that's not happening. So now everybody up in arms because you don't even give them an opportunity to even get to a rebuttal. Right. So I can't believe the Browns did that. No, you shut up, and this is the guy. You got one guy to root for, and then we'll bring in another. We bring in Huntley. You're not going to root for it. You're not going to cheer for him either. So, there's no controversy. Right. Jameis Winston can throw the ball. He's a former number 1 overall pick. He's going to throw you 2 interceptions, but he'll throw you 2 touchdowns too. And
that's the thing. I feel like Jameis is kind of the exact kind of the same thing as Flacco.
Same doing.
Like they do the same thing. Both big arms, both take huge risk and turn the ball over. So I just feel like you're just bringing in a younger Flacco, because it's impossible to think that Flacco is going to have the same success that he did at the end of the season for an entire, regular season. So I feel like it was a good move for sure. I always like Jameis. I feel like he's a super talented guy, and he's a good locker room guy too. So good guy to have on the team. So I'm super happy to have Jameis, man, for sure.
Great. He's a great interview too.
No, yeah, I bet Gary got to talk to, and you're a great interview too, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. And we definitely gonna be chopping some more, man. We got a lot coming up, like this playoffs, whole Brown season, man. I'll be seeing you doing your thing, so we gonna be linking up some more sometime in the future for sure.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Keep doing your thing, and we'll link up, and we'll see what's going on with these Cavs. Get ready for a game 1 against the Magic. So make sure you check that out, man.
Yeah, let's get it, man. Hey, thanks, G. Bush. My bad. G. Bush joining me today, man. The Trenches Podcast. I appreciate you, Bush, man. Have a good one, man. I'm gonna see you soon, brother.
All right, man.
Yes, sir. All right, now, man. I had to thank my boy G. Bush, man, coming through, man. Shout out G. Bush. He doing this thing, holding it down for the land, man. That's my dog, man. I appreciate him coming through. It's a couple little things, I had to, want to get off my chest before we get up out of here. Big things coming up. So next week, of course, is the NFL draft, man. A lot of people, I love the draft, man. I'm the biggest draft nerd there is, man. I've been loving the draft ever since I was a kid. Back when it used to be like 10 hours on a Saturday, I've been rocking with the draft, But, so we're looking at the draft this year. The Browns obviously, have no first round pick. So I'm not really concerned with what the Browns doing, get some good scouts to, get some guys in the later rounds. That's what it's about. So we look at the draft, and there's one team that really intrigues me the most about what they might do with this draft, right? So you look at the number one pick. Obviously, the Bears are taking Caleb Williams number one. They already traded Justin Fields, which I wouldn't have done. I would have kept Justin Fields around. I would have need at least got a second round pick with Justin Fields. They just gave him away. I would have let Justin Fields stay in there. I would have honestly had Caleb Williams and Justin Fields compete to who's gonna be the starter. So, but anyway, he's going. Caleb Williams going number one. I think Washington obviously needs to take Jaden Daniels at number two. He's obviously the second best quarterback in this class. Heisman Trophy winning. It's a fantastic season, right? So now is where it gets interesting, right? With the number three pick, the number three pick in NFL draft, right? So for me, right? So actually, I've been looking at the mock drafts and stuff. They have Drake May going three. Some people even have the JJ McCarthy going three. So if I had to choose between Drake May and JJ McCarthy, give me neither. Give me neither. I don't want neither one of them, bro. Because if we look through the history of like all these drafts, you see, probably four, maybe five quarterbacks taken in the first round. Two or three of them is going to be trash. It's a fact. It's what happens every year. We prop up all these quarterbacks. Quarterbacks go high in the draft, but obviously they don't all pan out. You're looking at a situation where you're the New England Patriots and you're sitting there with the with the third pick in the draft. Take the best player on the board. And the best player on the board is without a doubt Marvin Harrison Jr. You solidify yourself a franchise receiver, which y'all ain't had since Randy Moss. Y'all been drafting horribly at receiver year after year. Now's the chance to get a franchise receiver that you know is going to be here for 10 years. You don't have to worry about none of that. You got a guy. So, yeah, that's my thing, man. Draft Marvin Harrison Jr. And then what you could do would be my suggestion is I would trade in later into the first round to get Michael Penix Jr. because he's my number three quarterback to me. I'm a big fan of Michael Penix, and I think you get him late in the first round, maybe possibly even the second round. But then you trade up late into the first round and you get Marvin Harrison Jr. and Michael Penix, you won the draft right there, man. You won the draft. You get a quarterback and a receiver, bro. Patriots, don't be stupid. Which I'm pretty sure y'all are going to be stupid. Y'all going to take Drake May or JJ McCarthy, and y'all going to freaking regret it. All right? Take Marvin Harrison. Take the short thing, okay? That easy, right? Another thing I want to get into real quick. We got a big fight going on this weekend. Got Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia, right? And I don't know if y'all been seeing like some of the stuff that Ryan Garcia been doing and just saying lately, but dude is off his rocker, bro. Like, I don't know what's wrong with bro. Like, he just be tweeting weird stuff, saying weird stuff. That's a lot of stuff. Y'all can look up it. I don't really feel like getting into all the things that he said, but so at the weigh-ins, Ryan Garcia comes in 3 pounds overweight. He's just showing all of the signs of a guy that doesn't want to fight. That's not ready to fight. He doesn't seem prepared. Like, he's not ready for this, right? So for me, and I'm not a huge Devin Haney fan at all. I think he's a good boxer for sure, but I'm not a huge Devin Haney guy. But this is Devin Haney's moment to catapult himself into the stratosphere. Some would say this is his chance to get his signature knockout. The fact that he's even the B side of this card and Ryan Garcia is the A side and Devin Haney is the much better fighter than Ryan Garcia. Haney, you need a signature win. You need to knock Ryan Garcia the fuck out. Don't just go in there, outclass him, box him for 12 rounds, and get a unanimous decision. That ain't gonna cut it. All the stuff Ryan Garcia been saying leading up this fight, all the weird stuff he's doing, take his fucking head off, bro. This is your signature moment. You want to be a pay-per-view draw. We need a signature knockout, and this is the moment. Dude ain't ready to fight. 420 pay-per-view. This is your chance, Devin Haney. If you want to be a superstar in boxing like you say you is, shout out to your pops, Bill. I fool with you, Bill. But if Devin wants to be a boxing superstar, a pay-per-view draw, he needs to knock Ryan Garcia the fuck out. Period. That's it. And one last thing I want to talk about before I get out of here real quick, is shout out to the WNBA, man. Because never in my life have I been this excited for a WNBA season in my life. I don't think many people have ever been excited for a WNBA season. And I'm not one of those guys that, those guys out there just, they gonna hate on WNBA regardless. Oh, let's see women and blah, blah, blah. It's the guys like that. I ain't never really been like that. Not to say I really watch the WNBA, but I kind of keep in tune with it. I watch the championship and stuff like that. But I'm excited for the future of the WNBA with the new arrivals of, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and all these. It's a great draft class. A lot of people comparing it to 03 in the NBA, but I'm making more a comparison to 84 because 84 kind of shifted a change in the NBA's popularity where, it wasn't really a big time sport. Yeah, you had Bird and Magic already who were kind of, brewing up, what you kind of look at as an Asia Wilson and Sabrina Ionescu kind of already a Bird and Magic kind of in the league already. But once 84 hit, when Jordan and Akeem and Barkley and Stockton, all these guys come in, I feel like this is what this WNBA 2024 class is kind of similar, same thing. It's about to catapult the WNBA to a whole nother level. We're about to see ratings in the WNBA that we never seen before. And shout out to all these ladies, man. I'm gonna be watching for sure. I want to see if Caitlin Clark could do it on the next level. The Diamond Taurasi's and them tell, oh, it ain't gonna be easy. She's gonna be fooled when she get up here. So let's see it. Let's see if Caitlin Clark could carry that magic on. See if some of these young girls, and it's gonna be some squads, man. And I'm excited for the WNBA and what they doing. They need to get a team back in Cleveland for sure, man. I miss the Rockers, man. I remember the Rockers, one of the OG WNBA franchises. But yeah, man, shout out to the WNBA, man. They doing big things coming up, man. Yeah, man, shout out to them. So yeah, man, that's all I want to touch on today, man. Appreciate y'all joining me, man. Like I said, once again, appreciate my dog G Bush joining me today, man. Cavs playoffs, full swing, getting out of the way, man. We gotta check back in, see how these playoffs play out, man, and stuff to talk about this offseason, man. But once again, man, thank all y'all for joining me, man. It's the Trenches Podcast, man. Y'all know what it is, man.